Howdy friends, this is Ian, and for tonight's video we're talking about knowledge checks. So in this recent clip that I just had, I kind of captured a really cool moment where I basically showed an player that I understood a situation they were trying to put me in, which was the plus on block slide special that has. And it's really kind of an interesting moment because in the beginning of the rounds, the player just dominates. She kind of gets in and she's able to do whatever she wants to do and kind of put you in that situation loves to be in, where you kind of just feel like an idiot and you're getting hit. But once I kind of taught them this idea that I understood the knowledge check, there's a really dynamic change in how they're playing, and I kind of wanted to talk about that as we go through this clip together. So let's get into it. So this is the first moment. The slide starts to come into play. It's the second one, third one. More plus frames. It's kind of like the quintessential round where everything kind of goes their way. And the moments that I really wanted to focus on, it's these moments where she gets in, right, and does that poke right there. It's a really, really great moment on the player side, because basically it is this knowledge check, right? It's when I get that special move, I'm plus. And I'm going to check you right now by poking, right? So on two parts, this knowledge check is important. On one part, do I know how to deal with the slide, the pulse on block slide, when it's up close? And in this round, I did not respond well. And then the second knowledge check is basically testing to see if I understand that it's plus. And that's what this little jab does. She did it in the first one, didn't do it on the second one, and then did it on the third one. And I really like that. I think that's just a really great attitude to have, and it basically, especially in an online match, it kind of just sets you up to understand the situation. And I don't know much about but I know that if you're fighting an opponent as and they don't know how to deal with that move, you have free reign. Anytime that you land that, it's a neutral tool, it's plus on block, it's very, very abusable. It's a very powerful knowledge check. And now, this is for the next round where I start to make the adaptation. Right. We see that the slide coming in. And now, so this is the moment where everything starts to change. And this is the moment that the player really has to start thinking, well, maybe the first round was just a fluke, right? Maybe the situation was whatever the reason why I wasn't responding, but now they know that I will respond. And there's a certain range where maybe I can't throw it out. It's getting caught in neutral. It wasn't like it was caught in a block string, but getting it thrown in neutral, it will tell you something. And then the next thing about this is that, I mean, there's a bad burst. Not really anything I did on that. It wasn't a burst bait. It just happened to work because of the situation. But from that one throw, it basically set me up to win the rest of the round. We see the light version, or I'm not sure, the other button version of the slide come out, which is not plus on block, which is, doesn't go as far forward as either, but I think at that moment it was also kind of another knowledge check where it's like, can you see the difference of that? Maybe they were trying to test out if I was preemptively throwing and would get caught by that. Maybe that was their mindset. I'm not really sure, but there's something important in the fact that they changed it from the heavy version with plus frames to the version without it. We see there's now a new neutral approach. We're going in the air. It's interesting. It's that just basically that one knowledge check completely changed the perspective of how this person was playing neutral. No slide. No slide. Comes from the air. So I really like this. I think that's like just it's such a clear moment where you know that they're thinking about getting thrown out of that and how that throw kind of snowballed into them losing that round. And the adaptation they made, they were doing this special in the air where it's kind of like a lariat where she's just flying across. And then even from that far slash range going into the air dash. And it's a good adaptation, but I really like that. I think this is an important moment when you do something in a match and your opponent feels like they can't do one of their options. That's very, very strong, because now that I know that they are afraid to do this slide on the ground, it lets me free up some of my mental space to focus on how can I anti-air. Maybe am I going to 6P? Am I going to 5P? Maybe I'm preemptively throwing out bar slash, which normally gets low profiled by the slide, but would be really good as kind of an anti-jumping button at that range. So it dynamically changes how this match was played in that moment, and I really liked how that is represented in this. No slides yet, right? It's really, really kind of an interesting thing. Now that's the only thing that I really wanted to show with that clip, but I really, really thought that was kind of a cool moment, and it was very clear for the rest of that game, which, it's a short time, and I think in the next round they kind of started reintroducing the move. But sometimes that one round matters, maybe that one game matters. I really liked how apparent it was that after the fact that I've shown that I understood the knowledge check of the slide, that they had to change up their game plan because they didn't understand, maybe they didn't have the faith to go back into it. Maybe they were just too scared to, whatever the reasons. But I hope you guys enjoyed the perspective. Yeah, it's more just something interesting that I really liked in this clip. So let me know what you guys think. Stay tuned for the next one.